Hello there. I am glad you can make it today. This lesson for today comes from Genesis, and it may be one that you have heard before, but I think we've got a little bit of extra we can put in there so that it'll make a little more sense than it may have in the past. Okay, here's the situation. So, you're familiar with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and we know of one daughter's name, but he had other daughters as well. So big family here, and they were in the sheep raising business for the most part. Now, this required that the sons take out the sheep, the flocks that they had, and go over a large area of land so that they could have enough grazing so that the sheep would survive. They would have enough grass to live on. And they had to move quite a bit because sheep will tend to graze the grass so far down to the ground it might end up killing it. So you don't want to do that. You just want them to get enough to where they can go to the next place. So at this time, um, 11 of the sons are seem to be involved in taking care of the sheep. Now, my suspicion is that the youngest one, Benjamin, is not out there with them, and that's something that would not become clear in this lesson, but will be in the next one. But in any case, the second youngest son is named Joseph. Now, Joseph was born to Rachel, and this is the whole situation where Jacob had four wives and they produced these 12 sons, and I'm not sure how many daughters were born out of this because we don't have a number for that. And Joseph is the first son born to Rachel, and she only had two children. She had Joseph and Benjamin, and she died. So Joseph and Benjamin are special to their father. Now, this causes a problem because Joseph ends up being the favorite. Uh, you would think that Jacob would have learned this from the way he grew up, that it caused problems when the dad has a favorite child, but he didn't. He loved Rachel so much more, and that's a whole nother story and should have been fairly well covered in earlier lessons. So we'll just move on with this. So Joseph is, uh, in a couple of ways, unique from his brothers. One is that he is very responsible, and even though his dad favors him, he appears to be a good worker. Um, Now, his dad went way overboard because he got a special robe for Joseph. And sometimes it's called the coat of many colors, sometimes it's called ornamented. We don't really know the words there except the robe that he wears over his, well, we would say underclothing, but it's not quite the same thing. But the robe he wears over his lightweight clothing is special. Now, it could be that it was many colors. It could be that it had jewels or other special expensive stones or things woven into it, maybe gold thread. We don't know. We just know that it's very special. In fact, one case said it could mean that it had long sleeves on it. In any event, he's got this on. So he can be seen from a distance. Now, he had reported on a couple of his brothers who weren't doing a good job. And Jacob seemed to like this, not that these guys were not doing a good job, but that Joseph was a responsible person and a good worker. And so later on, he sends Joseph out. He says, go check on these other guys and see what they're doing. Now, what you have to know up until this time, a couple of things had happened. Now, Joseph is 17 years old, and the second thing about him, other than his being a good worker, is that he can interpret dreams. Now, he gives credit to God for being able to do that. And we know about having dreams and how crazy they can be, or silly, or scary, or whatever. But God has often used dreams to communicate to people. Sometimes you think that, well, maybe it's because they'd be too scared if you talk directly to them or send an angel to them. And that's for good reason because people generally are really scared when an angel talks to them or God talks directly. But it seems like God isn't talking directly to Joseph at any time, but Joseph will have these dreams and he will understand them and what they mean. And it will be God letting him know something about what's going to happen. Well, in one of those, he tells his brothers, "Oh, I had a dream about all of us, and we all had grain that was growing, and every one of us had some grain pulled together, and yours bowed down to mine." Well, these guys didn't like that. They're going, "What do you mean? You think we're going to bow down to you?" They could tell what the dream meant is that he was going to be their boss one day, and since he's like the second youngest one, they didn't like that a bit. And later on, he tells one in front of the whole family, he said, "Oh, I had this dream that the sun, moon, and stars bowed down to me." And his dad's going, "Oh, you think your mother and I and your brothers are all going to bow down to you?" Okay, now this time his mother, Rachel, had died, so um, this must have referred to Leah, who would have been kind of the mother who's taken over in that place. But that's not the thing to get hung up on. The thing to think about is, oh, so everybody can understand that somehow Joseph's having these dreams where he's going to be in charge of everybody, not just his brothers, but everybody in the family. And they don't like that. Well, his brothers are out a long way from home, probably about 50 miles they've gone from where Jacob is living at the time. In fact, he sent him out to go find the brothers and see if they need anything. And someone else tells Joseph, "Oh, they've gone on to Dothan," which we find is in an area where the trade routes are because there's a lot of desert in that area. People traveling or taking goods from one place to another would have to stay in spots and maybe take a longer trip, but they had to have water along the way. So, where his brothers are is in one of these areas. Well, he's getting close to them, and they look and they go, "Oh, there's that dreamer coming." And these brothers start going, "We ought to kill him. Just get rid of him. He thinks he's going to be our boss. We'll kill him, and that's not going to happen." Well, there's one there named Reuben. Now, Reuben was the oldest of the brothers, and he should have been the top guy working for Jacob, their dad. But he had not done a good job. There were some things he had done that kind of made it where his dad was at odds with him. And this may have been a time where he was thinking, "Oh, this is a way to make it up to dad for what I've done." Or he may have just realized that, you just don't kill your brother. And he said, "Guys, hey, let's not kill him." Because they had been planning to kill him and throw him in a cistern, which is a big hole in the ground. And he said, "Oh, no, let's not kill him. You can put him in there." And he had to go do something. Now, his secret plan was to come back later and get Joseph out and take him back to their dad. And then he thought, okay, that should settle everything. While he's gone, though, uh, the rest of the brothers grab him and they throw Joseph down in the cistern and then they eat. They don't give him anything to eat. They're trying to decide, what are we going to do about it? And um, Judah, one of the other brothers, convinces them, okay, why, let's not do anything too rash in all of this. Well, it turns out some of the traders coming along are Ishmaelites, and they're kind of like distant relatives um, because they're related to Abraham, just like they're related to Abraham. And they say, okay, let's sell him as a slave. At least we'll get something out of him. And so the others go along with that. And Judah thinks, okay, we're saving his life, but we're also getting rid of the problem. They take that special robe off of Joseph and they sell him for 20 shekels of silver. Now, the going price of a slave for a good one would have been 30. So they're going lowball, but the range could go from 15 to 30. I'm thinking in this that they're selling him to be sure the Ishmaelites will take him, and the Ishmaelites are not going to pay a lot of money because they can see, wait a second, these guys want to get rid of him. So they give a low figure. It's accepted. They take him off to Egypt. They take the the robe. They kill a goat and put blood all over it. And then when they go back to their dad, they have this and they go, well, we never saw Joseph, but look, here's the robe. And the dad's real upset. And that's the end of that part of the story. Meanwhile, Joseph gets taken down to Egypt. He's sold to Potiphar, who's one of the chief guards working for the king. And the king we call Pharaoh. And he starts doing work around Pharaoh. Excuse me, around the chief guards or the head guard's house. Now this guy's named Potiphar. He does such a good job. Potiphar puts him in charge of everything, and he's doing a great job. But Joseph is a good-looking guy and real well built, and Potiphar's wife is going, "Ooh, I like him. I want to get smoochy with him." And she tries and tries, and he's not going to do it because he knows that you know God doesn't want him to do with that. Well, one time she grabs him when no one else is around, and he pulls out of his robe. Now he's got a new one that Potiphar would have given to him, and he pulls out of that robe and runs off. And then she sees he's gotten away. Well, she screams. The other servants show up, and she goes, "Oh, this guy was trying to get me, and I've got his coat, and he ran off when I screamed." So she's lying about all of this. Potiphar gets home. He sees what's happened. He is furious, thinks that Joseph has done just what his wife has said, throws him into the prison. Well, in the prison, Joseph is a model prisoner. He ends up doing some things that the head of the prison says, and he's doing such a good job. The the head guard there puts him in charge. Now, this is the king's prison where special prisoners are sent. And there are two guys who get thrown in there who work directly for Pharaoh. There's the cupbearer and then the chief baker. And these guys are there to make sure that Pharaoh's food isn't poisoned. Well, Pharaoh's unhappy with them. They have dreams, and Joseph interprets the cupbearer's dream and says, "Oh, uh, what this means is that Pharaoh's going to restore you to your job in 3 days. And uh, when he does that, please remember that I'm here and tell him about me." Well, the chief baker tells his dream, and Joseph says, "Oh, in 3 days, uh, the king's going to have you killed. So sorry about that, but that's what's going to happen." Well, 3 days passes. Exactly what Joseph has said happens. Um, the cupbearer gets his job back. The chief baker gets killed. I guess Pharaoh's still angry with him. And that's it. Because the cupbearer forgets what Joseph had done for him. Now, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. This is kind of a cliffhanger. You'll have to listen to the next lesson to get the rest of the story. But here's the thing to know is that sometimes, even when you're doing the right thing, it may look like you're getting punished, but there's a greater good that can happen as a result. Now, the time for today, I've got the stars because all the stars are going to bow down to Joseph. And in the end, you're going to see how all of this comes about. But for now, I'm going to let you go and hope to see you next time. Bye.